Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Donovan the Smartphone Guy here to do a video review of the Moto G4 Play. And as you can see, I have the Verizon version. I picked this up. I'm not a Verizon customer. I haven't been a Verizon customer for a little while now. I'm a Cricket wireless customer, and I picked this up simply because of the fantastic deal that Best Buy had over Cyber Weekend, whatever you want to call it, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This phone was available at Best Buy and still is at the moment of this video is making for $35. And this is the Verizon prepaid version. So typically Verizon phones are unlocked. This prepaid version is not unlocked. So you'll have to get it unlocked. And then we'll talk about that towards the end of the video about the limitations of unlocking it. So I've already unlocked mine, but again, I'll talk about some of the limitations. But first, let's just talk about the phone. This is going to be a first impressions video. This is by no means a final video for this phone. So first of all, we have a 5-inch 720p display, 2800 milliamp hour battery, which so far seems to last forever. We have an 8 megapixel camera on the back and a 5 megapixel camera on the front. And for right now, I'm just going to talk about that real quick. And I'm going to say that 8 megapixel camera really is on par with some much better cameras at 13 megapixels. So for instance, I'll give you an example. I have the Blue Life 1X2. So Blue is definitely not known for their cameras at all, in my opinion. And this 8 megapixel camera, in my opinion, as I'm looking at photos taken by both these cameras, it's better than the 13 megapixel camera on the Blue Life 1X2. So that is something interesting. 8 megapixel camera, I would compare it very similar to like the iPhone 5S, which has an 8 megapixel camera and takes pretty decent shots. The 5 megapixel front facing camera, not so great. But it's not bad either. So this comes with 16 gigs of onboard storage and 2 gigs of RAM. So far, the processing has been very quick. 4-core processor, and last but not least, a micro SD expansion card slot or SD card slot. So this is what the phone looks like. Obviously, you can see quite small. Looks just like the G4 and the G4 Plus, but obviously a little bit smaller. You can see that I have the Verizon version. So there's our camera with the dual LED flash on the back, the two-tone flash. I'm sorry, that's a single LED flash. And this pops off. The little back cover pops off here. If I can get it off, there we go. And we have our battery, and you can see I have my Cricket SIM in there right now, and I'll tell you right now that it's doing nothing because it won't work, even with the unlock code. So I did put the unlock code in, and it specifically said that it was successful, but it's not working, and I'll talk about why that is in just a moment. So we have a microphone back here as well, and down here we have a microphone, if I can get that in some decent lighting. Well, there's a microphone here anyways. And up here we got our front-facing speaker and a front-facing camera right there. We got our power button, which has a nice tactile feel to it, and then our volume rocker right here. So it says SIM is not from Verizon. Very stock Android feel, as all Motorola phones are, and I appreciate that about Motorola. Very stock feel to their phones. And you can see that with this, you do get a few Verizon apps. So it had that Verizon Messages, the Verizon Cloud, Message Plus, we already talked about that. NFL Mobile came on it, and then Verizon Navigator. Those are the only apps, and My Verizon. Those are the only apps that came on it that are not pretty much stock Android apps. I added in Madden Mobile, of course that didn't come in it. Yeah, I think that's about it. I added in that Ampere app as well, just to see how fast this thing charges. So we can talk about that real quick since I already brought it up. So this does not have fast charging by any means. It charges at less than 1 amp. So I was using a Qualcomm 2.0, 3.0 fast charger, and the charger it came with, didn't matter which charger I used, they would all charge it at the same speed, which is not fast. About 700 milliamps is what I was getting for the charging. So definitely not a fast charging phone. It's going to be comparable to like the old 1 amp phones. But in terms of like actual speed on this phone, I think it really is very comparable. So here we go. There's the deal. I was looking at Android Authority a little bit earlier. But this phone really isn't too bad. It's quite snappy, honestly, to go from app to app. It does no problem. You can see that I have quite a few apps there. Let's see if I played this quite a while ago. Let's see if Madden Mobile will actually pop right back up, or if it has to go back to. Okay, so it did have to rerun the app. Like I said, I played that a long time ago. But I will say this, that in terms of processing power, it didn't do too bad with this game. I mean, there is a little bit of lag, not much as you're playing. It's definitely still very playable. So that's definitely a thumbs up, for a phone that I only paid $36 for. Who cares if I can't I'm just going to use it as a Wi-Fi device. Very cool in my opinion. And you can hear the speaker right now. So the speaker is just as good as the G4 and the G4 Plus. Front facing speaker, it is that single speaker there, but it's not bad at all. Especially for like if you're watching Netflix or something like that. So we're going to turn that down just a little bit. And just for fun, I'm just going to show you that it really doesn't have any problem running this game at all. So don't mock my gameplay here, because I literally just started a new season. So I have basically nobody on my team at this point. So we'll see how long this takes. I'm kind of a long ways away from my Wi-Fi, so that could take a while, but let's go ahead and kick it off. And there we go. All right, we'll turn the volume back up just a little bit. You can just kind of hear a little bit of what it sounds like. All right, so gameplay though really isn't too bad. I mean, it's quite fluid, honestly. All right, so that's enough of that. But I just wanted to just point out that, yeah, in terms of gameplay, you're not really getting a bad deal here. Like I said, the camera quality is quite good. Battery life is good. The 720p screen for me is plenty on this little 5-inch screen, so I don't think you really need it. It does get quite bright. This is an IPS display, so it's not going to be as bright as like an AMOLED display, but it still gets bright enough. In my opinion. So yeah, I just think that overall for the price, even if you're just going to use this as a Wi-Fi device, obviously if you're not, excuse me, if you want to use this for your daily driver, you definitely want to pick up the unlocked version. On Amazon, you can pick up the one with the apps in there, the ads in there, and that will cost you $100, or you can pay $150, I believe, for the version that doesn't have the ads. But in terms of this phone and how well it performs, I just think this phone for how cheap it is just a phenomenal deal. And like I said, you can throw in a micro SD card. So this is running Android 6.0.1. And actually today I did get the October patch, so that's a thumbs up to Motorola as well. They're sending in the patches for it already. So yeah, it's getting updates. The camera quality isn't too bad really for an 8 megapixel camera. Good screen in my opinion. The processing power is not too bad. Battery life is good. I just think for the price, now obviously this is nowhere near a flagship phone. It doesn't even compare to flagship phones. But for less than $100, or for right around $100, and if you get this deal and you're actually on Verizon prepaid, it works really well. So just real quick, I just promised that I would show you what it looks like. So I'll go into my settings real quick. Oops, that was the weather settings. So I wanted to go into the settings just to show you real quick that I did attempt to actually get it unlocked and everything. So if I go into the cellular networks here, you can see that we got some network operators. So it's going to go ahead and search. And I just want to show you what it shows after it's been unlocked. So you can see here that it has the T-Mobile option and the Verizon option. It doesn't even show the fact that, I'm using Cricket. But so those are the only two options that it shows available for this phone. So that tells you that the LTE networks for Cricket, AT&T aren't even available. But take a look at Jay Will's video. He did a video a little bit ago. I'll go ahead and leave a link for his video because he did get it working on T-Mobile, but he only had LTE. He didn't have voice, and he wasn't able to make any phone calls from it. So it was very limited. So if you're getting this just as like a Wi-Fi thing, go for it. I think for $35, who really cares? I wouldn't pay for the unlock code probably unless you're on T-Mobile and maybe you just want it as an LTE device and you don't care about voice calls. that might be an option. But if you're on Verizon and you want to get the prepaid version, I'd say go for it, man. For 35 bucks, why not? This, I mean, geez, Pete, this phone can do a lot. And so I'm going to go ahead and keep it just as like a device to have on the side because it's a fantastic little device. But anyways, that's my first look at the Moto G4 Play. I probably not sure if I'll do another video about it, but if you have any questions and there's something that you'd like to know about it that maybe I didn't cover in this video, maybe I'll do some more videos on it. But go ahead and leave those questions in the comments section. And as always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.